All right, we are starting page 32 of our notes. So in your table of contents, you need to put page 32, 7.4% proportions. Okay, this is just another way of solving percent problems. It's called percent proportions. We're going to solve percent problems using proportions. All right, so let's turn in our books to page 32. Put your 32 in the top right-hand corner and title it 7.4% proportions. Okay. Also, you want to make sure that I can read your writing and that you can read your writing, so that way you will be able to use your notes on your assignment. Okay, all right, so let's put it into words. In words, we would say A, and let's color code. You should have at least 3 different colors, and we're going to color code. A is, and then this should be a different color, P% of W. Okay, so A is going to represent the part, P is going to represent the percent, and W is going to represent the whole. Okay, all right, so an example would be 3 is 75% of 4. Okay, so that would be in words. Okay, now how to set up your proportion. You do the part over the whole, so you put A over W equals, P over 100. Okay, and you always put your percent over 100. Remember, that's how we make it a fraction. So if I wanted to make this right here into a proportion, how it would look is 3 over 4 equals 75 over 100. Okay, and that's your proportion. All right, so what we're going to do is whenever we're given a problem, we're going to fill in for these parts, and we are going to solve it for the unknown. Okay, so remember, A is your part, W is your whole, and P is your percent. Okay, so examples. Number 1. What percent of 15 is 12? Okay, now this one's worded a little weird. So it's asking what percent. So I do not know what percent it is. So that would be my P. So I don't know what the P is. And then it says of 15. How you can tell which one's the whole, it's the one that comes after the word of. So it says of the whole. So of 15, that means 15 is the whole. So that would be your W. And then 12 is the part. So that would be A. Okay. So start off with your proportion, A over W equals P over 100. Okay, And then you just substitute in the ones that you know. So A, I know is 12. So I'm going to plug in 12 for A. And my whole is 15. So I'll put in 15 equals, and I don't know what the percent is, so I'll leave it as P and then put that over 100. Okay. Now, once you have your proportions set up, now you can solve. And we've actually solved proportions before. Okay, we solve proportions by cross multiplying. So you do 15 times P, which is 15P, equals 12 times 100. Okay, and then you do 12 times 100, so 15P equals 12 times 100 is 1200. And then you divide both sides by 15, and you get P equals 80. Okay, so it would be, the answer would be 80%. Okay, because it's asking what percent, so that would be 80%. So that means that 80% of 15 is 12. Okay, so another example. Number 2. What percent of 5 is 3? Okay, so here's my percent. It's P. 5 is the whole, and 3 is the part. Okay, and how I figured that out is that of 5. So that's how I knew that 5 was my whole. Okay, oh, sorry, this should be A, not a P. That should be an A. All right, so it's A over W equals P over 100. For A, I'm going to plug in 3. For W, I'm going to plug in 5. And for percent, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to leave that as P. That's what I'm trying to find. Okay. All right, so we cross multiply. So first we do 5 times P, which is 5P. Then we do 3 times 100. 3 times 100 is 300. And then we divide both sides by 5, and we get P equals 60. So our percent would be 60, 60%. Okay, so another example. 24 is what percent of 20? Okay, all right, so where it says of 20, that tells me that that's my whole, because it's after the word of, and I don't know what percent is, so I'll leave it as P, and 24 would be my part, and that would be A. Okay, so it's A over W equals P over 100. Okay, so for A, we plug in 24. For W, I plug in 20. And I don't know what P is, so I leave it as P, because that's what we're trying to find is the percent. Okay. All right, so now we just need to cross multiply. 20 times P is 20P equals 24 times 100, which is 2400. Okay. Then we divide both sides by 20. And we get P equals, those cancel, that's 120%. So it would be 120%. All right, awesome. Let's try another example. What if we're trying to find a part? What if they give us the percent and the whole, and we want to find the part? Okay, so example 4. What number is 0.5% of 200? So since it says of 200, I know right away that that's my whole, and that has a percent symbol, so I know right away that that's my P for percent. And the one I'm looking for is the part. I'm looking for A. So I do A over W equals P over 100. Okay, and now I plug in. I don't know what A is, so I leave it A. W is 200 equals, my percent is 0.5, and then that's over 100. Okay, and now we cross multiply. So first we do A times 100, which is 100A, equals 200 times 0.5. 0.5 is the same as 1/2. So I'm looking at, 200 times 0.5 would be 100. And then if I divide both sides by 100, 100 divided by 100 is 1. So I get A equals 1. Okay. So 1 is 0.5% of 200. Okay. All right. Number 5. 10% of 40.5 is what number? Okay. All right, it says of 40.5, so I know right away that that would be my whole. And since that has a percent symbol, I know that would be my percent. And I don't know what A is. Okay, so we put A over W equals P over 100. Okay. For A, I don't know what that is, so I'll leave it as A. For W, we plug in 40.5 for 40 and a half, or 40 and 5/10. Multiple different ways of saying it. And for my percent, I substitute in 10. Okay, and now we cross multiply. A times 100 is 100A. 40 and a half times 10, that would be 405. Then we divide by 100. These cancel. We get A equals 40.5, or I'm sorry, 405 divided by 100 would be 4.05. So 4 and 5/100ths would be 10% of 40.5. Okay, another example. Number 6. 150% of what number is 30? Okay, so it says it says 150%, so I know right away that that's my P. And then it says of what number? So since this is after of, that means that's my whole. So this right here would be my whole. And then is 30, that would be my part. Okay, so this time I'm trying to find the whole. So it's A over W equals P over 100. Okay, and for my part, we plug in 30. For our whole, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to use W equals your percent, which is 150 over 100. Okay, and now we cross multiply. W times 150, that's 150W, equals 30 times 100 would be 3,000. And then we divide both sides by 150. And we get W equals 3,000 divided by 150 is 20. So our whole is 20. Okay. Number 7. One half is 25% of what number? Okay. All right. So right away, I'm working with fractions, and I really don't want a fraction inside a fraction. So I'm going to change this number here to a decimal. Okay. So 1/2 changed to a decimal would be 0.5. And to find that, you would just type in 1 divided by 2, and it gives you 0.5. All right, so this says 25%, so I know that's my P. This says of what number, so I know that's my whole. And that leaves this one to be the part, A. Okay, so I set up my proportion, A over W equals P over 100. Okay, for A, we're going to plug in 0.5. For W, we don't know what that is, so we're just going to put a W. P is 25, and then over 100. Okay, all right, so then we solve. We do W times 25, which is 25W, equals 0.5 times 100, and that's 50. And then we divide both sides by 25, and we get W equals 2. Okay. All right, so now you know how to find the percent, you know how to find the part, and you know how to find the whole number. Some key things to look for: to know which one's your percent, it's going to be the one that has the percent symbol. To know which one's your whole number, it's going to be the one after the word of. And then you always cross multiply. It doesn't matter which ones you do first. I always do the one that includes the variable first, so that way my variable's on the left side. Okay. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you, and y'all have a good day.